Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot, and welcome back to the iFly 737 MAX on leg 2 of our Adriatic triangle. We have completed our first flight from Brussels over to Split, and now we're going to take it from Split to Dubrovnik. This will have to be a captain's leg once again because of the captain's only landing that we're expecting over in Dubrovnik on runway 29. But in the meantime, our first officer can head out for the walk around. Now, before we get into this video, I would like to leave a word about today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on and one that can not only do your standard IFR A to B flight, but also things like VFR, data link, and even has some gimmicks like a cabin crew simulation that's using your actual Simbri flight plan data to name airports, cruise levels, flight times, and so on, then do check them out. We will be using Say Intentions throughout today's video, so if you like what you see, be sure to check out the program using the link in the video description below. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and have a look into our flight plan for this leg from Split to Dubrovnik. And this is what it looks like. Fairly straightforward, straight out departure and then along the coastline for the Arnav RMP AR approach runway 29 in Dubrovnik. The significant weather chart is absolutely perfect, and the weather forecast is as well. At our destination we're awaiting cavalcade conditions. Our alternate is actually Split where we're coming from, so we do know that the weather is going to be good, but in case Split is not available, well, Zagreb is probably not so good, but Zadar is absolutely perfect, so we know that we've got options. In terms of our flight plan, we have an on-time departure at 0700, which is going to lead to an on-time arrival. Plenty of margins at the takeoff and landing weights. Flight level 190 is the planned cruising level, and going down into the fuel section, 3610 planned takeoff fuel plus 143 taxi. Now we will need a little bit for that Arnav approach in the runway 29, so let's round it up to 4000 kilograms, and that's all we are going to need today. So with 4000 kilos decided, let's head into the flight deck to start to prepare today's Boeing 737 for our flight. You can see I've just done a reinitialization of the IRSs over here, but first of all let's initialize our flight plan. So starting with the payload and performance, we can head into the weight and balance feature. We have 115 guests on this flight and we're going to carry 500 kilos in the cargo holds. Then we can go into the fuel section, load up 4000 kilos over here and 143 kilos taxi fuel. And finally for the trip fuel, let's have a look at our Simbri flight plan, because I can't remember that many numbers by heart, and this is 1325. Alright, so with that our aircraft is loaded, so set payload, set fuel, and then we can just get straight into our setup. So we don't need to do the safety inspection since it is a turnaround, so let's head straight down into the FMC. It's a 737-8 28K, nav database up to date. We will be using the GPS left position on this one. Then we can do the flight plan request, which might take a minute to complete here. We do have 20 minutes to scheduled off block, so that's easy going. Let's have a look at GSX, which is still deboarding our passengers, so that might take a little while. Our flight plan is loading, and then we can bring up our sim brief plan as well. So we'll be the Beauty 2909, departing from Split runway 23 via the, what's it called, Sipal 7 Delta departure, and our arrival is going to be an Arnav runway 29 with the Sipal 1 Lima arrival and the Olego transition. And well, this bug is known to us, the arrival is looking good. Then let's have a look into the legs page, and for that we will need our charts. So use airports from FMS, show alternates, LDZA, search, select, complete, and then Split departures. So Sipal 7 Delta, here it is. Let's open that up. And that looks like an absolutely lovely departure to do a little bit of raw data flying. So straight ahead to Trogir above 1115, Dubrovnik above 4000, then a left turn, passing QDR 295 above 6000, and then intercept the radial 118 outbound until Sipal. So that sounds pretty good. Let's actually go ahead and do that stuff raw data, because why not? But a quick check in the FMC, this actually looks exactly like what we've just discussed. Wonderful. Activate. Then, now let's face it, we don't need to request any winds over here. Average is gonna do. Cool, so to the performance initialization. Reserves 2.2. Zero fuel weight, 55.8. Cruise level 190 is in here. Wind 335 at 15. Like this, and the cruise temperature minus 13. Alright, just gonna keep an eye on this. Deboarding completed. Perfect. Request boarding, please. So, transition altitude 10,001, noise abatement procedure number 2. So that's going to be an acceleration in 3,000 feet. 250 below 100 is correct. And for the fix page, let's copy our origin and paste /25. And that's all we need. Wonderful. So with this done, let's start our panel preparation here. Refueling is complete, so the fasten belts are coming on. Everything's set up here. Cruising in 19,000, and the land out is 400. Alright, flight director's coming on. Then let's have a look into that departure chart again. It's going to be a runway track, then we have Tango Romeo India, Delta Victor November, then 101 outbound. Let's tune that as a little reminder. On the right hand course, 101, and thereafter radial 118 outbound from Split. Okay, and 118 is selected. I like it. Auto brake RTO, reset the fuel flow. Let's just have a look at the system page, and everything is good. Frequencies. Oh, what did I mess up now? Lost the set. Here it is, complete. This one's better. Okay, so tower 124675. It's active. ATIS 125.3 is also pre-selected, and we'll see about the rest later on. Cool, transponder is set, audio control panel is set. You definitely don't need VHF 3. So, let's set the radios up for this departure. Seatbelt 7 Delta. And that's going to be straight ahead to Trogir on 378. Here we go, 378. Then to Dubrovnik, 418. Which is also set. And thereafter we'll need split viewer 1157. Well, that's an interesting frequency down there. That should have given us an error. So 1157, 1157, and the rest is looking good. So that's our flight deck setup pretty much completed. Well then, boarding is ongoing, very nice. Let's see, initial climb clearance 5000 is pre-selected. Wonderful, and that's pretty much all that we could do completed. So let's go ahead and listen to the ATIS before we start and get our IFR clearance.
Temperature 28. Dew point 16. QNH 1015. Density altitude 1600 feet. Arriving and departing runway 5. Transition level 105, advise on course heading, altitude, and if traffic service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information Yankee. Split Airport, information Yankee. 1730 Zulu. Wind 19 at 3. Cav OK. Temperature 28. Dew point 16. QNH 1015. Density altitude 1600 feet.
Alright,
arriving
cool.
and departing
that is
runway 5.
Yankee,
Transition level 105, advise on.
Lovely, then let's go ahead and call for our IFR clearance. Before we do that, I just noticed a small typo on the call sign. Juliet Alpha Fox 2909. Here we go, that's better. Alright, let's get the clearance. Split Tower, Beauty 2909, information Yankee, request IFR clearance to Dubrovnik.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Roger. Okay, looks like we might have to wait a small moment for the clearance. Over here the last passenger seems to come in and...
Beauty 2909er, information Yankee is current. Cleared to Dubrovnik via the SIPA 1 Whiskey departure runway 05. Initial climb to 4,000 feet. Departure on 120.875 squawk 6714.
Beauty 2909 is cleared to split via the SIPA 1 Whiskey departure, runway 05, climb altitude 4000, departure 120.875, squawk 6714.
Beauty 2909er, readback correct.
Okay, so 4,000 feet, 6714. Alright, and 120.875. Here we go. So, looks like they switched the runways.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard TUI Fly Belgium,
SIPA
flight
1 Whiskey.
2909, departing from Split to Dubrovnik. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes and
So
store
let's
your
find
hand
the chart
luggage
for
in the
that.
overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you require any assistance, do not hesitate to contact the crew. Additionally, I would like to inform you that on June 28th and 29th, members of the Say Intentions cabin crew will participate at the Flight Sim Expo in Providence, and our visitors will have the opportunity to speak with them. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, so SIPA 1 Whiskey. Now that is an interesting one. And actually that is the incorrect chart. SIPA 1 Whiskey, here it is. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So, straight at 480, maximum 185 knots, right and turn Sierra Papa 800. And we got that. So, Sierra Papa 800. Between 4 to 5,500. Maximum 185, right turn waypoint 801. Below 7,500 feet. Then we continue to Sierra Papa Lima between 5,000 and 110, maximum 210 knots. And then right again to Sierra Papa 805 above 8,000. And then direct to SIPA. Okay, initial to 4,000 feet, and that's it. We'll talk about the departure in a few moments. In the meantime, everything else from our clearance is set, so let's go for our departure briefing. So, threats for the departure. Most definitely the terrain is going to be a threat, so we will be using terrain displays, and, well, good luck outside. We can see everything, so that's not going to be a problem, but we're departing straight towards this, so we better have that inside. Okay, now let's go for the route check. That's Lima Delta Sierra Papa to Lima Delta Delta Uniform, Juliet Alpha Foxtrot 2909. The routing is via SIPA, and that gives a ground distance of 144 versus 147. 2.5 remaining, 2.2 required, so we have about 10-15 minutes extra. Alright, instrument cross check, time UTC 0652, altimeter 1015, reading about 0. MFRA, we can set that 1070. Is set, and the flight director is on, minus master standby instrument set. It's a left seat takeoff off runway 05, flips 5, noise abatement procedure number 1. We have nothing special, nothing abnormal. The really interesting thing is going to be the engine out, and for the engine out procedure we are actually going to follow the SID exactly until Sierra Papa 800, and thereafter heading 180, climbing to 3000 feet. That's going to keep us safe out over the open water. Now for our taxi routing, it's a really easy one. Startup will be on stand, and then it's a left turnout via Alpha, backtrack runway 05, full length departure. Now for our SIDs, we have this rather weird looking thing, but honestly it's not that weird at all. Basically they just need us to gain altitude over here, and once we're at a good altitude we can expect the direct to Sipal anyway. Unfortunately that means no more raw data departure, because this would have been a really nice one, but what can we do if the wind changes, huh? Okay, there is a small note here, do not overshoot 4.5 dB from Sierra Papa Lima, so let's go ahead and tune that down here. Sierra Papa Lima /4.5, and here we go. Okay, so any questions? No? Beautiful, then that's our briefing completed. Let's say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning again from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and for those of you who have just joined us here in Split, welcome aboard our Boeing 737-8 on our flight to Brussels via Dubrovnik. For those of you who stayed on board from the email flight, welcome back on board. We will be starting our engines in a matter of the next few minutes. The weather en route is good, and we expect some excellent views on both sides of the aircraft. For the time being, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our shiny cabin crew. Once again, welcome aboard, and now sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. So, let's do the safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to PA, please. Or actually, I tell you what, let's do transit before start checklist. That's easier, isn't it? So, gear pins 1 of 3 removed, yaw damper on, fuel, so 3, 9 required, 4 on board, 4 pumps on, fast melts on, window heat on, air compressed, PAX auto bleeds on set. Why did the landing altitude change? Press mode selector auto, instruments cross-checked, auto brakes, RTO, speed brake, down to 10, parking brake set, stop and cutter switches normal, radius radar and transponder standby, radar and aileron trans 3 and 0. Takeoff briefing discussed, PA complete, holding at FMC CDU. Alright, so APU is coming online. Then let's prepare the position for pushback and departure, please. Yeah, restart Throttle, because we will not need any services here, as this is a self-maneuvering stand. So, parking brake is set, then we can disconnect the ground equipment. Well, and then let's do our takeoff data. So, 115 passengers, 500 kilos in the front hold. The fuel data is entered and accurate, and that's a zero fuel weight of 55.8, which is what we've got already anyway. So, split, this should be 05 now, and it's a dry runway with a little bit of tailwind, 28 degrees, 1015. Takeoff 2, flaps 5, aircon on, anti-ice off, calculate. D takeoff 2, 37. And that's 80.2 versus 80.3, close enough for my taste. Flaps 5 takeoff, and our CG is at 21.3. And that gives me takeoff speeds of 132, 132, 140, which is all checked. Okay, so complete the checklist please. FMC CDU, set, N1 IS bugs, automatic, and we have reduced takeoff 2, 32, 32, 40, set, stub trim 6.3 set, performance weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode still, flight of windows and cockpit door, locked, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete down to the line. Beauty 2909, request engine start.
Beauty 2909er, engine start approved.
Startup approved, Beauty 2909. Okay, so ground from flight deck. Our startup is approved and we are fully ready up here. Confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed and the bypass pin is installed. And that's all confirmed and you're clear to start. Thank you, starting engines 2 and 1 in that sequence. Before start checklist below the line. Air compacts off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete. Starting engine 2. And we have N2. Oh, look at that. Someone broke our wingtip. Surprised that this happened on the Max. Engine is running up. N1. No oil pressure yet. The oil pressure should normally come a little bit earlier on the 737 Max. But anyway. So now we have oil pressure. Waiting for the motoring to complete, and here we go. So fuel is coming on. Let's watch the self-test. It should flicker a little bit more, honestly, but it gives you an idea of what the plane would do. Okay, and that looks like a good engine start. Low oil pressure warning is out. Next we're waiting for the starter to disengage. Here we go, starter cutout, monitor 2, isolated pack, and engine 1 start. Ground flight, we're starting engine 1. Clear 1. And 2. And 1 is rotating a little bit early. That should only come at something like 20% N2 or so. Oil pressure should come a little bit earlier though. Motoring is in progress, and if you're wondering what the motoring actually means, basically we are dry motoring the engine. The idea is that we are cooling some parts of the engine. So after you shut the airplane down, all the warm air that you would still have in there would go to the top. That would heat up the top elements in the engine, especially those fan and turbine blades that are still located at the very top. Just because, you know, the fans and the turbines stop there. And therefore you would have an imbalance on the engines. And you don't want that. For this reason, the airplane is motoring the engines before it's starting them up. And the actual timing depends a lot on the temperatures, on the time that the engine's been shut down, so a lot of stuff goes into it, but it can be up to 2.5 minutes if you had a quick turnaround and if it's hot outside, like it definitely is today. But luckily we had an hour turnaround. That really helped bringing the start times down. So, starter cutout, monitor 1, and engine 1 is stable. So, ground flight, you're clear to disconnect. Show me the pin on the right side, please. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Okay, let's assume the clear signal is seen. Flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right, and neutral. After start checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto, bleeds on, isolation mode, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected, and green lights, step trim, 6.3 required set, start levers idle temp, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Beauty 2909, request taxi.
Beauty 2909er, taxi to runway 5 via Tango 1 Alpha.
Taxi to runway 05 via Tango 1 and Alpha, Beauty 2909. So clear left side, clear right side, and the taxiway is fairly easy. We'll make a 180 out of the stand and then onto Alpha. Basically the same way that we taxied in. A little bit of thrust, and here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard TUI Fly Belgium Flight 2909, departing from Split to Dubrovnik. My name is Laura, and I am the lead flight attendant for this flight. Joining me in the cabin are my fellow crew members, Pierre, Camille, and Julien. We are here to ensure your safety and comfort.
Beauty 2909, request to backtrack runway 05.
Provide you with some important safety information. Firstly, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap.
Beauty 2909er, backtrack approved. Taxi to runway 05 via Tango 1 Alpha and backtrack as needed.
Will drop from
Backtracking runway 01 approved, Beauty 2909.
flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic
So
band.
the right side is clear,
Remember to put on
the
your
left
own
side
mask
is
before
clear.
assisting others. For those of you seated in the exit rows, please note that you will find a life vest under your seat. To use it, pull it out, slip it over your head, and inflate it by pulling the red
So
tabs.
who did not turn
You can also
their
inflate it by blowing into the
mobile
tube.
off here?
In the unlikely event of an evacuation, please leave your luggage behind. Your safety is our priority. This Boeing 737 MAX 8 has emergency exits located at the
I love it
front,
how she
over the
emphasizes
wings,
the
and at
MAX
the rear of
8
the
before
aircraft.
talking about the emergency
Please take a
exits,
moment to locate your nearest
making
exit,
sure she gets everyone's
keeping in mind
attention.
that it may be behind you. The expected
So,
flight time is
before
approximately
takeoff checklist below the
37
line.
minutes.
Config,
Thank you for your attention.
checked,
We
flaps
will be
5,
coming around
5,
shortly
green lights,
with
step trim
refreshments,
6.3
and
set.
after the meal service, we will also have items available from the
Takeoff
TUI
briefing.
shop.
Left
Now,
seat takeoff,
Emmanuel,
runway
cabin is ready
05,
for
flaps
departure.
5, noise abatement 1, PAX auto, bleeds on, anti-ice off, speeds 132, 132, 140, sit straight out 480, then a right turn, and basically staying clear of the mountains, climbing to 4000, and we can expect directs after our initial climb. So, emergencies, we follow the SID until the 808 point, and then heading 180 to the open water, climbing 3000, and if we can't come back over here, which with runway 05 will not be any problem, because, well, you can see the approach area there, it's pretty much flat terrain. But if we can't come back, we can either consider flying to our destination, or we can go to Zara. Do you have any questions? No? Lovely. So, cabin secure, before takeoff checklist complete. Beauty 2909, ready for departure.
Beauty 2909er, runway 05, wind 195 at 3, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 05, clear for takeoff, Beauty 2909.
Attention all aircraft Bravo now, current QNH 1015.
Kilo 1015
Beauty
is in there.
2909er, runway 05, wind 225 at 6, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 05, clear for takeoff, Beauty 2905. Correction, 2909. Okay, Elnaf doesn't want to engage, so we'll have to do that once we're airborne. Not on intercept heading, well, I disagree with that. But okay, so be it. Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP, set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Are you ready to go? So the brake is released, we'll both stay on the terrain. Take off. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. knots, checked.
V1.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. It's funny how you see the lights react before the animation of the landing gear lever starts. So select LNAV and LNAV, VNAV.
Beauty 2909er, contact departure on 120.875.
Switching to departure on 120.875. Beauty 2909er.
So I'll acquire.
Split departure. Beauty 2909er. Morning. Climbing past 1000.
Beauty 2909er, split departure identified, climb via the SID.
Climb via the SID, Beauty 2909er.
Okay, 1000 to go. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Command A. So, I think we're pretty much clear of all the terrain. Beauty 2909, we are visual with the terrain. Request to proceed direct CPAL.
Beauty 2909er, proceed direct CPAL approved.
Direct to CPAL approved. Beauty 2909. Alright, here we go. Direct to CPAL. Flaps up. Speed checked. Beauty 2909er, request level 190. Flaps up, no lights.
Beauty 2909er, climb flight level 190.
Climbing flight level 190, Beauty 2909er.
190 checked. VNAV. That's flight level 190, set 1, 2, and 3 times. Monitoring 1 to 1.5. Alright, so after takeoff checklist please. And tell you what, we can set standard already. So standard cross check, passing flight level 49 now. So after takeoff checklist. Aircon and press, 2.4, climbing. Rise the trim air off. And set. Altimeters, standard, passing level 60 now. After takeoff checklist complete. Alright, I like it. So, 80 miles to the top of descent. That means things are gonna go pretty quick here. So we're clear to climb above 15,000. That means we can go for the full climb thrust. And that's now set. Look at that rate of climb. 4,500. 5,000 feet a minute. What a beauty. And it's even able to maintain those. Wonderful. I'm not going to see that anytime soon, as long as I'm going to stay on Airbuses. So, altimeters, passing level 103, climbing level 190, 10 checks. Fuel balanced, 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air cannon press, 5.0, climbing set, fasten belts. We're gonna release our cabin crew, but we'll keep the passengers
Dear guests,
seated.
we have now climbed above the safe altitude.
Okay,
I am pleased to
so
inform
recall
you
is
that the
checked
use of
and
electronic devices
monitoring
is
1 to
now
15.
allowed. Please ensure
Unfortunately,
that
the
your
iFlight does not
devices
simulate
are
any
airborne.
data link,
Thank you for
but
your
at this
attention.
low altitude we're probably not gonna need it anyway. Yeah, that's it. Any questions? Nope. Lovely. So let's grab our arrival charts. So runway 29, RMP AR, ATIS 18425.
Runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information whiskey. Dubrovnik Airport, information whiskey. 1800 Zulu. Wind 235 at 4. Cabak. Temperature 24. Dew point 15. QNH 1016. Density altitude 1600 feet. Arriving and departing runway 11. Transition
So,
level
vertical speeds.
105. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information whiskey.
Alright, ATIS Whiskey is on board and they changed the runways to runway 11. That is a pity, because it means we're not gonna fly the beautiful approach, but we are much rather going to fly the straight-in approach. So I guess they'll have an ILS Yankee approach for us. Beauty 2909, which star can we expect? $1,000 to go.
Beauty 2909er, expect SIPA 1 Alpha arrival into Dubrovnik, runway 11.
Okay. Sipal 1 Alpha arrival, runway 11, Beauty 290. So, that's pretty much straight in. So, ILS Yankee, Sipal 1 Alpha. That's probably going to come in from Loxa. And execute.
Beauty 2909er, expect the CPA 1 Alpha arrival. I'll have you descending in just a minute. Proceed direct Debbie 49er, expect the ILS Yankee runway 11 approach into Dubrovnik.
Expect the SIPA 1 Alpha arrival. Proceed direct DBK 49er. Expect the ILS Yankee runway 11 approach into Dubrovnik, Beauty 2909er.
Okay, you have control.
Beauty 2909er, cleared SIPA 1 Alpha arrival into Dubrovnik. Whenever you'd like, descend flight level 100, QNH 1019er.
Cleared SIPA 1 Alpha arrival into Dubrovnik. Descend flight level 100 at discretion. QNH 1019er, Beauty 2909er.
Okay, so that's set, level 100 checked, and level change, down we go. That is going to shorten our flight significantly, so let's just go ahead and do a quick setup. ILS Yankee, runway 11, frequency 1, or rather courses 114. Frequencies 110.1.
Beauty 2909er, descend altitude 6000.
Descending to altitude 6000, Beauty 2909er.
Set QNH. QNH 1016 cross-check, passing 15,200 now. So, we still gotta catch that. Okay, still gotta catch that profile, but we're on the way to doing that. So, rings 10 miles and 4 miles. Let's see, minimum 719. Alright, 200 kilos to go. Well, we're just gonna set up flaps 30 over here. Don't have to bother with that. Alright, cool, then we should be ready with our setup. So let's go ahead and start with the briefing, please. Speed brakes coming in, VNAV. Okay, threats for the arrival? Well, honestly, I see none. The terrain is of course a factor, but we have it in sight. We've got our terrain displays up. That's literally all we can ask for.
Beauty 2909er, contact Dubrovnik radar on 123.6.
Contacting Dubrovnik radar on 123.6, Beauty 2909er.
So let's have him handle the radios first.
Dubrovnik radar, Beauty 2909er, morning, descending through flight level 110 to 6000.
Beauty 2909er, Dubrovnik radar, identified, Buenos Dias.
Buenos dias. Interesting. Okay, so let's continue with our briefing here. Seatbelts, we'll just cycle them. Alright, so 240 below 10,000, forecast is filled in, fixed range runway 10, 10 and 4 miles. For the arrival, we're basically ending up at Losca. From there we'll proceed to the DB28 point and then towards the final approach at 16.2 DME, above 3,900, then 11.5 above 3,400. We have both of those. And the final approach point is at 6.5 DME in 2,600. 3-degree glide, down to the minimum of 719, and we have all of that. Missed approach, straight ahead, at 1,000, turn right, maximum 190 knots, intercept radial 178 Delta Bravo Kilo, climbing to Featherow at 4,000 and hold. Delta Bravo Kilo is 15.4. Like this, and well, that's pretty much it. Okay, we're gonna vacate the runway to the right hand side for the approach itself, arriving at 2.8 versus 2.2, so 600 kilos, that's about 15 minutes, and that's everything. Any questions? No? Beautiful, then let's do the 10 checks up next. Cabin crew, 10 minutes to landing. Okay, fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, lights on, angle of bank
Beauty
25.
2909er, Dubrovnik radar, proceed direct Charlie Foxtrot 11 Yankee. Descend altitude 3400 until established on the localizer, cleared for the ILS runway 11 approach.
Proceed direct Charlie Foxtrot 11 Yankee. Descend to 3,400 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 11 approach, Beauty 2909er.
Okay, direct center fix 11, 3,400 set and checked. And then, yeah, let's just do the 10 checks again. So fuel is balanced, 4 pumps on, lights on, angular bank 25, aircon and press 4.0, maintaining set, fast modes on, recall checked, 1 to 1.5 is deselected. Cabin crew advised, 10 checks complete. Okay, so finally, everything done. Now we just gotta get close enough that we can actually receive the ILS, which should come in at 25 miles in Microsoft Flight Simulator. In the real world you do receive it earlier. Much earlier indeed, usually like 50 or 60 miles out, unless there is another ILS with the same frequency that's nearby. But that's not the case today, so I don't expect any problems there. However, what I do expect is that once we reach 25 miles, we are going to receive it, we are going to be able to check the idents, and then we can do the frisk check. Now, in the real world, the 25 miles probably comes from, or rather, the sim probably thinks 25 miles is the reception range, because 25 is the range where ICAO standards ensure that the localizer has to be reliable, and 18 miles, 17 miles for the glide slope, by the way. Yep, look at that, 25 miles, here we go. So, frisk check please. Frequencies, 111.1, fixed rings runway 11, 10 miles and 4 miles. Idents, India Delta uniform, which is thrust check, standby instrument set, and the course is 114. Approach checklist please. Actually, we can do the descent and the approach checklist, both of them. So, descent checklist, pressurization, line out 400, annuals off, approach fuel is cast, IS and outbox checked and set. Approach checklist, ultimate descent instruments, thrust checked, approach aids checked and set. Approach checklist complete. So, VSD for the pilot monitoring. And man, it's a busy flight. 16 minutes in the air and we're already almost on the final. I bet it's gonna be just a bit more than 20 minutes of total flight time. I mean, that's how I like these flights. So that diesel point is probably a bit early. Let's go a level change, maintain the 250 for a bit. Do a slight tailwind, but 8 miles before the 10 mile point. A bit early. Okay, field in sight, over there it is. I'll fly it all the way down to 3,400 or just above that. Then we'll start the deceleration, that way we'll have a nice continuous descent. Just like they always want. Yep, that's checked. So, we are looking for stands probably 12 today. 11 or 12, one of the two.
Beauty 2909er, contact Dubrovnik Tower on 129.5.
Okay, Warlock capture.
Switching to
Even though there is
Dubrovnik
no
Tower
reason
on
for it to turn right.
129.5, Beauty 2909er.
Runway heading 114 set. There is our airport.
Dubrovnik Airport Tower, Beauty 2909er. Morning. We're established on the ILS approach for runway 11.
Flaps 1. Speed check.
Beauty 2909er, Dubrovnik Airport Tower, winds 235 at 4. Runway 11 cleared to land.
Runway
Nice
11,
capture.
clear to land. Beauty 2909er.
We're on altitude 4000 set. Flaps 5. Speed checked. Flaps 5. Okay, gear down. Still need to lose a little bit of speed here. So, flaps 15. Speed checked. Flaps 15. Landing checklist. Start switches, continuous, recall, checked, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 3 sets, holding it fast. So, flaps 30, speed checked, flaps 30. Okay, complete the checklist. Flaps 30, 30 green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete.
2500.
Terrain noted. So this might have decelerated a little bit better than I anticipated. Field elevation is 400, so we're stabilized at 1500 AGL. Well, I'm not going to complain about it. Definitely not. It's interesting, the localizer scale tells me that I'm slightly to the left of the center line, but when I'm looking outside, it looks like we're slightly to the right of the center line. Well, 114. You look at this, the localizer still tells me I'm slightly left, but we are definitely to the right of the center line. Flight rectors off. Or rather, recycle flight rectors. It's a 737 after all. Now look at this, now we're on the center line, and the localizer tells me that we're quite a bit off actually.
1000.
Checked. So, slight wind from the left. UT 2909, wind check.
Beauty 2909er, winds 235 at 4.
Minimums.
Check.
Terrain.
No, absolutely no reason for a pull-up warning here. Continue.
400.
But the glide slope is incorrect as well. The puppy looks better.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Thruster is normal. Idle reverse. 80 knots. Manual brakes. 60 knots.
Beauty 2909er, welcome to Dubrovnik. Taxi to Park 35 via Delta, monitor this frequency.
Taxi to Park 35 via Delta, monitoring this frequency, Beauty 2909er.
We will not do that. Beauty 2909, request parking 11.
Beauty 2909er, taxi to parking 11 via Delta, monitor this frequency.
Taxi to parking 11 via Delta, monitoring this frequency, Beauty 2909er.
Okay, that sounds more like it. So, after landing items... are complete. So parking 11 is just over there. Not gonna be a long way in. And then we can shut down engine 2, please. So lights off, and the weather radar is off. And of course it started drifting in the turn, because why wouldn't it? It's just 10 knots, which is exactly what Boeing tells you to go as a maximum, but 10 knots. Taxi models. Why can't everyone do the taxi model like Phoenix? So APU is on the bus. And stop. 2 blue, 1 red, engines dead. Cabin shoot, auto manual and trust check. So, both engines below 20%. So, parking checklist, or transit shutdown checklist. Electrical on APU, fast modes off, pro beat auto, ANI off, air complex auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed on, exterior lights set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down intent, flaps out and alight, parking brake set, start levers. Why is that one in idle? Engine is off. Start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB/RCB in, cockpit door unlocked, and that's the transit shutdown checklist complete. So, since we're at a jetway position, I would absolutely expect them to give us both electric and air conditioning. So let's contact both of them. And since we've got air conditioning connected, we'll turn the packs off. Then we can shut the APU down as well. Okay, cool. So let's see. Fuel use 1,100 kilos. We were supposed to use about 1,400 kilos, but on the other runway, so that's fine. System status is good as well, and with all of that out of the way, thank you very much for flying along, my friends. I do hope you enjoyed this one. Be sure to join us on the way back home to Brussels in the next couple of days, and in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'm really looking forward to see you all again on the next one.